What up with it, baby?
Hey, tell him what you told me.
What I tell you?
What you doing it for?
Oh, promotion, baby.
All right.
What
So
you
I
mean?
ain't gotta
But
him
hey,
up,
but we should spar.
I ain't gotta him up.
We should spar.
Best. I want to show the world that I'm the best. After this fight, I want to be considered top 5 pound for pound fighter in the sport, and I can't wait to show it.
You said this week that you were in for a rude awakening when you get to 140. What do you think he's in for when he goes up against you?
I think he just don't realize how good I am. I think come fight night, he's going to realize that I'm going to take it to another level that he has never seen before. So if he's expecting the Lomachenko, the Josh Taylor fight to happen, it won't be that type of fight. Senior, tell him. We talking to Senior. We ain't talking to little dude over here. Senior.
Every fight is a different version of me.
I know.
And I love it because even the people out there don't know what they're going to get from me. And that's the beauty about it. He could be studying, he could be doing a lot of things, but he's not going to know till the day of the fight. So
Terence Crawford directly addressed Teofimo Lopez with a stern warning, emphasizing that taking Shakur Stevenson lightly would be a major miscalculation.
The sky is the limit with Shakur. No, he got the boxing skills and the ability to, do whatever he wants in the ring. And it's going to be very hard to beat Shakur, with the skills that he possesses and the smarts that he has. And given the opportunity, I think he can pose a great threat to everybody in the division.
I look up to Bud a lot. Honestly, he one of the realest dudes that I done met. He's still a normal person in his head. Like, he don't believe that he's above everyone else. That's how I feel about myself.
You seen me around a lot.
Oh, no.
Don't act like you ain't seen me around.
Them days.
He said that.
Bud, come on. Terrence talking, I try not to talk back. I try to just listen and
Straight, boom, straight shot. Like right here, boom, there you go. But you gotta make sure you step. Bam. That's when the motherfucker trying to run out.
I'm gonna just say all of them. It don't matter who they is. He ready for the big test and the big names, and he's gonna do well with each and every one of them. And
in a separate moment, Terence Crawford directly addressed Teofimo Lopez, creating a noticeably tense interaction. He questioned Lopez's mindset and his approach to facing Shakur Stevenson. The exchange carried a serious tone, with Crawford making it clear that underestimating Stevenson's skill could have significant consequences once they meet in the ring. Terence Crawford confidently states that Shakur Stevenson will prove his full capabilities when the opportunity comes. He highlights that Stevenson's discipline, precise timing, and defensive intelligence set him apart from other elite fighters. Crawford explains that once Shakur steps into the spotlight, everyone will witness his skill, patience, and command of the ring, making it clear why he is regarded as one of the most well-rounded boxers in the sport today.
Excellent. He was sharp. He was letting his hands go. He was standing in the pocket more. He probably got hit just a little bit too much because he was trying to please everybody that's saying, oh, he can't do this, he can't do that. I talked to him and told him, just be yourself. Just keep winning. It doesn't matter what the naysayers say and what the people that's having certain agendas against him.
Dan Kinabayo and Chris Algery analyzed the Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson matchup from both a business and boxing perspective. They note that with Matchroom controlling the Joshua card, a PBC crossover fight is unlikely. The analysts also suggest that if Lopez is defeated, Stevenson will remain at 140 pounds rather than dropping back to 135, a move that rarely happens in boxing. They describe the 140-pound division as competitive and exciting, with plenty of depth. Kinabayo and Algerie also point out that Stevenson tends to face fewer challenges against brawlers and is more effectively tested by skilled counterpunches, which means that some potential matchups, despite fan interest, are less likely to happen.
For the Joshua card, so therefore we're not going to put a PBC fighter on it. Anyway, Gary Antoine, I mean, all these fights are good. Like, if Teofimo ends up losing to Shakur goes into this mix, and I do think Shakur will stay at 140 for a little bit. So, and you also have
I think he stays from now on. I don't think he goes back to 35.
Yeah, it's very rare we see these guys go down after they go up. You got to add in Shakur. You got to add in Pitbull Cruz. You got to add in Lamont Roach. There's some other good names on 140 as well. But yeah, I would say Smith presents something to this puzzle at 140 is that he's from England and he can sell over there. And if you're Hitchens, who's not the biggest ticket seller here in New York, and you want a unification, and you think you could beat Dalton Smith, you might have to go overseas to do it, where you could make a lot more money. Gary Antoine Russell versus Smith stylistically is great. Shakur versus Dalton Smith is stylistically great. Shakur, it's just a fun division.
I don't want to see that.
What?
I don't want to see Shakur and Dalton.
I put that one at like 1% chance of ever happening.
I don't want to see that.
Even though, like, you don't think Smith presents like he's more of like would be the brawler in the Shakur scenario. I know he would be.
Yeah, that's the worst style to fight Shakur. It's the worst style. You have to counterpunch Shakur. Just like with De Los Santos. He was the guy who gave Shakur the most trouble.
Yeah, but Zepeda gave Shakur the best, most aesthetically pleasing fight, but not that Smith's going to throw 100 punches around.
Completely different style, though. Zepeda and Dalton aren't you can't compare them. That's apples and oranges. Yeah, no, I don't know.
But in terms of a guy coming forward.
But is Dalton really that guy?
Analysts note that the size advantage could play a major role in a Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez matchup. Stevenson naturally carries a longer frame, broader shoulders, and a solid base. Even though Lopez holds the title at this weight class, moving up hasn't diminished Shakur's strength or control, and he appears fully comfortable at 140 pounds. Experts emphasize that size isn't just about weight, it's about leverage, balance, and how effectively a fighter uses their physical presence. Shakur's height, reach, and composure give him the ability to manage distance and dictate the pace. Lopez depends on explosive power and sudden bursts, which become more difficult to connect against a disciplined, larger opponent. If Stevenson applies his size to control space, lean effectively, and gradually wear Lopez down, the dynamics of the fight could change significantly.
Shakur Stevenson is bigger than Teofimo Lopez. Despite him moving up in weight, and despite Teo being the champion, we got some action. And in this video, I'm going to show and prove and break it down. I'll make it make sense in this video. You got to stay to the end. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Ego Weight Watchers, aka EW, where I give you a look into the fighter's lifestyle before, after, progress pics, especially when they have an upcoming fight. I warned you, Shakur, I have no idea why he tried to play this game where when people got on his...
Bernie, the boxing analyst, offers an in-depth look at why Shakur Stevenson presents such a challenge for Teofimo Lopez. He stresses that Stevenson is a fighter who should never be underestimated or easily managed. Unlike boxers who depend mainly on raw power or a single tactic, Shakur brings a versatile approach. He blends technical skill with strategic intelligence, making him unpredictable inside the ring. Bernie notes that opponents frequently misread Stevenson, mistaking his calm, controlled style for a lack of aggression. In truth, Shakur's ability to adapt and analyze his opponent in real time allows him to capitalize on openings immediately. This mix of patience, timing, and expertise gives him a distinct advantage against fighters like Teofimo Lopez, facing a competitor who is not only talented but also highly disciplined in executing his game plan.
But he couldn't beat a one-handed guy. And if you go back and watch that fight, like I'm saying, Shakur wasn't just running Jermaine Ortiz really moved a lot on Tio. That never happened with Shakur Stevenson and fighting this guy. That never happened. You know, so De Los Santos is De Los Santos. You know, he got a reputation off of that. That boosted his reputation. I don't know why. He didn't do nothing to Shakur. He didn't wobble him, didn't hurt him, didn't do nothing. You know what I mean? And the man was one-handed. So, but shout out to De Los Santos. Like I say, I think he's more risk than reward. Actually, that'll be a great fight for Abdullah Mason in his first title defense. That'll be a great fight for him in his title defense. That'll be a good. They should use him for that
instead of Joe Cordina.
Yeah, Joe Cordina was rough too, though. I watched him against the kid from Fresno. What's the kid's name? I forget his name. They was pushing him, but he just ain't there. He took a lot of punishment. He probably need to go get a job. You know, Gabriel Flores. Gabe Flores. Yeah, Gabe Flores. Yeah. He from Fresno, or he from Sacramento. He from the Bay Area.
He just be training. Yeah, he be training.
Yeah. So I would say I would say that, you know what I mean? Because Abdullah Mason is the guy. You know, I think he got a lot of potential. And like I said, you know, him fighting a guy like De Los Santos is almost like a Bud fighting Gamboa in his first title defense. You know what I mean? So that would be a great fight for Abdullah Mason. You know what I mean? And he's more known than Joe Cordina. You know what I mean? And given the controversy that he's been in, you know what I'm saying? The way he's perceived as kind of feared, that'll be a great fight for Abdullah Mason.
Damn, my boy Bernie said that's like Gamboa versus Crawford for his first title defense. That shit is fire.
Yeah. Terence Crawford offers a supportive and brotherly perspective on Shakur Stevenson. He points out that while some viewers may consider Stevenson's style boring, this overlooks the true depth of his abilities. Shakur's command of the ring is both subtle and impactful, allowing him to control the pace, make smart decisions, and stay protected while exploiting opponents' mistakes. Crawford stresses that serious boxing fans recognize the skill behind Stevenson's approach. It's not about flashy highlights or big knockouts, but about precise execution, defensive awareness, and controlled aggression. He believes anyone who underestimates Stevenson is failing to see the full extent of his talent.
I got Shakur. Are you saying that because that's your man and you don't like Tank?
No. Hey, like I said, I respect Tank. Boxing, he's one of the ones.
Yeah.
we gonna take his personality and personal things out of it. But boxing, he's definitely talented. You know what I mean? And he's definitely got that it. And he's definitely respected in boxing. But Shakur is a different fighter. You know, Shakur is different. You know, people may call him boring. People may say he can't punch. But they say the same thing about Floyd. Because they defensive.
Payne mostly shares his insights with an emphasis on fighting styles and how they could shape the outcome. He explains that the decisive element will be how each fighter's approach translates inside the ring on fight night. Power, speed, and patience all factor heavily, and the way these qualities interact will influence who takes control. Mostly points out that Stevenson's measured, patient style can counter raw aggression, while Lopez's explosive strength and precise timing pose a serious threat even to composed opponents. Ultimately, Mostly believes the fight will be determined by how well each boxer can implement their game plan while adjusting to the other's strengths, turning the matchup into a test not just of skill, but of tactical intelligence as well.
Shakur Stevenson is going to get slower moving up in weight or not, where Teofimo can hit him. Maybe he was really fast at 130, 26-30, maybe 35, but 40, you put on a little bit more weight. Shakur Stevenson has a very strong style where he can sit back and pot shot you and box and stuff like that, where Teofimo can also box and is very athletic and can get from side to side and can make things difficult for you as well. So what style is going to impose on the other is what we want to see.
So which style will impose? Is it something where like the first rounds really will dictate, or?
I think you're going to need a couple of rounds, but the first round is going to be very interesting. Maybe you see some tails, but I think maybe 2 or 3 you're going to start seeing one lead the other. Because I don't think that, well, maybe, I mean, Shakur might show some different, if he has to go after Teofimo, he might show some different type of heart that we haven't seen, or different type of fighting we haven't seen, and vice versa, you know, whereas Teofimo's hitting him with different shots off the angle that is kind of giving, you know, Shakur Stevenson trouble. We'll see about that.
Boxing analyst Wade breaks down the matchup through the lens of preparation and tactical study. He observes that both Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson have likely spent extensive time examining each other's techniques, given their parallel paths in amateur and professional boxing. This shared familiarity means that making quick adjustments and countering effectively will be crucial. Wade emphasizes that both fighters possess the technical skills to carry out sophisticated strategies, turning the bout into a true chess match in the ring, where small tweaks and split-second decisions could ultimately determine who comes out on top.
That are about to fight each other, there's probably not guys that know how they operate better. So if Teo is saying, I'm going to go out there and make you quit, essentially break you and stop you, that's something we haven't seen anyone get close to even hurting Shakur, really. Like, people say the Williams-Zepeda fight, Zepeda hit him with the right hand and Shakur got wobbled, even though it was clearly slipped. I thought that was one of Shakur's better performances because he dug down and bit down on his mouthpiece and said, I'm not just going to play the back foot and be slick and turn this into a very low output fight that I'll win because I'm just, you know, he's better than Zepeda. But he went out there and dogged it out a little bit, and I respected him for it. I don't expect him to fight the same way versus Teofimo Lopez. I really don't. And I think people are looking at the Zepeda fight and going, yeah, that's Shakur we want. And I don't want to say he's going to disappoint people, but he will not fight that way with Teo. He won't. And Teo won't fight the same way Williams-Zepeda did. They'll both be very measured. I think it'll be a very slow-paced, low-output fight. I could be wrong. You know, I could be wrong. I could see maybe they go to war or something, but we're talking about styles making fights, and Teo's style, even if he's on his front foot, he doesn't commit to a lot of punches on the front foot, but he can fight that way. Shakur almost exclusively wants to go defense to offense versus leading the exchange. So I don't know. Not to say Shakur will be on the back foot the whole time. That's not necessarily how I see the fight going, but I don't know if this is going to be like a knockdown, drag him out type of thing. I think we're going to get a defensive, sweet science display from both guys, which, by the way, I think works in Shakur's favor.
You said on there that Terence Crawford sent one of his little guys to come after you, implying that obviously you want a fight event.
Roach emphasizes Shakur Stevenson's exceptional command of the ring, highlighting his sharp footwork, impeccable timing, and ability to anticipate his opponent's moves. These qualities give Stevenson control over the pace and rhythm of a fight. Roach points out that ring control goes beyond simple movement. It involves creating angles, staying balanced, and setting strategic traps. Shakur's expertise in these areas lets him conserve energy while maneuvering opponents into disadvantageous positions. By managing space and timing effectively, he can apply pressure on fighters like Teofimo Lopez without taking unnecessary risks, demonstrating why Stevenson is widely regarded as a highly strategic and technically advanced boxer at this point in his career.
Some people thought he lost to Sando Martin. Who else?
He did beat Loma, who's arguably at the time considered one of the best in the world.
He did, and that was a hell of a performance too. A hell of a performance too. So yeah, I mean, I think he's hit or miss. You got to think he got stuff. He a little cuckoo too. Like he has like a little mental lapses every once in a while. Look at the Kambosos fight. Like, that's a fight that people would never expect Kambosos to win. And he won a grueling match against him as well. So I just, I don't know. I don't think he can get it done against Shakur when it comes to like, cause it's going to be just a skill match. I don't think he's going to try to rough Shakur.
Molina G shares his perspective on how Teofimo Lopez is viewed leading up to major fights. He points out that Lopez often faces criticism and is sometimes underestimated, especially when going up against a well-known fighter like Shakur Stevenson. Molina G notes that this gap in attention and reputation,
because Teofimo is at his most dangerous when he's counted out. And this is going to be one of those fights where he's going to be counted out, because Shakur is looked at by and large as the guy who can dominate boxing in this generation, right? It's just a matter of him getting the opportunity. I myself have felt that he's the guy who could and should be dominating boxing if he gets the right matchups. But bro, This is one of the rare matchups, if not maybe the only matchup, where I feel like it's a big threat here to Shakur. And then it would all come undone only because of this reason. Teofimo Lopez, we've seen him at his best, but he typically brings out his best characteristics when he's back to the wall and he's counted out. And he's going to be counted out in this fight. By and large, people are going to side with Shakur in this fight to win the fight because he's the more consistent fighter, he's the more class fighter overall, and he's just so...
That wraps up today's video. Keep watching for more updates, and we'll catch you in the next one.